Berserker, the most overpowered class in the game. Well, you might say Sorcerer is better. Even though I agree that it's also overpowered, it does not come close to Berserker for these reasons. Berserker has more stagger, more weak point damage, more survivability, and more movement speed, which is also part of being survivable. Look at this stagger levels on this spreadsheet. You can see this is for Sorcerer with different tripods, and this is for Berserker. Berserker has way more stagger with tripods as well. Now, to illustrate my point, I'm gonna show you a few clips. So, as you can see here, this AoE, you shouldn't be standing in it. You see other people, they're running away, scared to death from this AoE. Well, as Berserker, you just don't care. You just don't care. You can just stand in some AoEs and DPS. Another benefit is you can stand in AoEs that knock you back, and you can use push immunity skills. So you have 2 push immunity skill. So as you saw there before, a finishing strike, it's a push immunity. So you can DPS, you take damage and you DPS through it. You don't care. This is another skill that has push immunity, your identity skill. It also has push immunity, and if you are not scared of the attack of AoE but it knocks you back, you can still stay and DPS. As Berserker, you don't take that much damage, so you don't really care for a lot of the abilities. A lot of people put in the tier list classes like Gun Lancer, for example, in this tier above Berserker, but Gun Lancer cannot deal anywhere near as much damage as Berserker, and it also doesn't have a lot of movement speed, so you're not as mobile, you cannot do content as fast. So yes, in grown content it's valuable, but if you want to be truly independent, then Berserker is the best class, no doubt. For example, if you're a Paladin or a Bard, you are dependent class. For example, if you want to do Velganos, you need to be in a group in order to do it, unless you want to do like a DPS build, and then with that DPS build you're not dealing that much damage, it's going to take forever. So you are a dependent class, even though it's a really useful class in a group, but you are dependent on DPS to do content. The only class that comes close to Berserker for being truly independent is Sorcerer. But as Sorcerer, you are more squishy and you do a little bit less damage, and you cannot DPS through certain things, you get knocked back and stuff, and you don't have the movement speed. So that's why I put Berserker over the top, even though Sorcerer is also really easy to play and you range, and if you prefer that style, then yes, I would play Sorcerers in that case. But if you want to play the best class, then you definitely should play the Berserker. I play 3 other classes, and the only classes that felt powerful were you go in a group content, Abyssal or Argos or whatever, and you're like, damn, I didn't really play well, and at the end of the raid you see like you got MVP. Because with other classes, like, you are, damn, I played really well, I dodged everything, it felt like you did a lot of damage, but at the end you see Berserkers and Sorcerers doing way more damage than you, and it's just, with other classes you have to play perfect in order to compete with a Berserker or a Sorcerer. So this is the ideal class for beginners. I wouldn't put myself in a situation where you play like a Scrapper or a War Dancer and then you are disappointed with the game, you just feel not powerful enough. And I think if you are a beginner, then you should really consider playing Berserker as your starting class to learn the game, to do content. I made this build like a month ago, and this is not the meta build that I'm running for Berserker. I run like Spirit Absorption. It goes movement speed for maximum movement speed. It's not the worst, but it was just too expensive to get the best things. And still, I didn't play that well, and still you always get MVP because this class is just so overpowered. Now, this is not a build guide. is just to say how overpowered Berserker is, but I'm gonna give you some direction, guys. This is taken from Max Roll. There's nothing wrong with this build, so you can see the point distributions here. The way you play this for the boss fights is you use your chainsword and your red dust as your buffers. So your main damage combo is you use red dust, then finish strike, then sword storm, and if you have time you can use either strike wave or hellblade. And your other combos will be chainsword into tempest slash or bloody rush, your identity skill, or chainsword into hellblade or chainsword into strike wave. Your best and most successful damage combo, of course, will be red dust into sword storm into finish strike, because they are easy to land and you are kind of guaranteed to hit them. Opener, I like to use red dust, chainsword together, and then do Berserker Fury ultimate, because with red dust you get 20% more damage taken, then you get the crit buff, and with chainsword you get attack buff and a crit buff, so you basically guarantee the crit. Now you also want to have a separate AoE build, so if you have more skill points, just put them max out Mountain Crash and Tempest Slash. And what you want to do is you use Mountain Crash as your buff, so you get the attack speed. And the main thing here is you want to have Bleed Rune on Whirlwind. It is really important. So your main clearing skills will be Mountain Crash, and then you use Whirlwind. The mobs you don't kill die from bleed. Then your second clear skills, you can use Mountain Crash into Strike Wave is really good, or Mountain Crash into Sword Storm is really good, or Mountain Crash into Tempest Slash is also really good at when Tempest Slash is at level 10. So if you have another damage, Mountain Crash into Whirlwind is really powerful as for clearing, and of course don't forget to use your ultimates if you're doing Chaos Dungeons, for example. Ravens, you want to get Mayhem level 3 first, then Master's Tenacity level 3. This is for until late tier 3, and at late tier 3 you want to get Curse Doll. It will have no downside for us, because the healing detriment will still heal full HP, which is another benefit of playing Berserker class. You only need to use green potions, you will always heal 100% of HP, and that's why Curse Doll is also so good. For cards, I recommend taking 3-piece Will Meet Again and 2-piece Nature's Elementals in the beginning until you get Lost Twin Cliff or Light of Salvation. So use these two for further like 20% damage reduction when you're under 50. This is another thing that makes Berserker so good. That is Mayhem Berserker. Do not play Berserker's technique. It's not as good as Mayhem Berserker. So I hope you guys liked this video. If there's enough interest in this video, then I can make a full-fledged in-depth Berserker guide. This is not really a guide video, just a quick overview. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon.